You know the voice, that calm, wise, authoritative presence. We're talking, of course, about Morgan Freeman. But what if I told you that his greatest strength, that iconic consistency, is also the biggest critique against him? Today, we're diving deep into the Morgan Freeman paradox, a debate that really makes you question what it means to be a truly great actor.
So this whole thing kicked off with a really provocative post on Reddit. A user basically said, hey, actors like Morgan Freeman, who seem to play the same wise, guiding character over and over, are they actually great actors, or are they just kind of overrated? It's a bold take for sure, so let's really get into it.
All right, so let's start with the heart of the critique. The idea that Morgan Freeman is just hopelessly typecast. Is there any fire to go with that smoke?
Okay, so on one side of the ring, you've got the chameleons, right? Actors like Christian Bale, Gary Oldman, Daniel Day-Lewis, guys who completely transform for every single role. And on the other side, you have these icons, Freeman, Samuel L. Jackson, Clint Eastwood, who bring a very specific, very powerful persona to the screen every time. The argument here is that their consistency isn't mastery, it's a limitation. That true acting genius is all about transformation.
And this critique often zooms in on a pretty controversial trope. The term magical Negro, which was coined by filmmaker Spike Lee, describes this kind of stock character. And, critics will point to some of Freeman's most famous roles, playing God in Bruce Almighty or Lucius Fox in The Dark Knight, and say, see, he's playing this wise figure who pretty much exists to help the white heroes succeed.
But hold on, is that the whole picture? Not even close. If we're going to solve this paradox, we have to look way beyond that typecast label.
And this is where it gets interesting. Take a look at his early film work. In 1987, he got an Oscar nomination for playing a terrifyingly violent pimp in Street Smart. I mean, that's worlds away from the wise mentor, right? Then, just 2 years later, he wins a Golden Globe for his quiet dignity in Driving Miss Daisy, and in the same year, he's a gravedigger-turned-soldier in Glory. And of course, there's his iconic, Oscar-nominated role as Red in Shawshank. This is not the resume of a one-trick pony.
Now here's a number that puts it all into perspective for you. 52. Morgan Freeman was 52 years old when he really broke through in Hollywood. That wise, seasoned presence we all know, that wasn't just an act. It was earned over decades and decades of hard work on the stage, long before he became a movie star.
So, if he has all this range, why does that typecast label still stick? Well, it's because the whole debate is focused on the wrong thing. The real key to understanding Morgan Freeman isn't about the characters he plays, it's about the instrument he uses to play them.
What is it that makes a Morgan Freeman performance so undeniably Morgan Freeman? The answer has been right in our ears this whole time. It's his voice.
Let's break down this legendary instrument. In classical terms, you might call it a voce maschile, a powerful male voice. But what does that really mean? It's so much more than just being deep. It's that rich, velvety timbre that just sounds like wisdom. It's the crystal clear enunciation that gives every single word authority. And it's that steady, measured rhythm that's somehow both calming and completely commanding. This isn't just a voice, it is a perfectly tuned instrument for storytelling.
And that instrument, well, it's become a cultural shorthand for truth and authority. He's the voice that guided us through the epic March of the Penguins. He even took over for the legendary Walter Cronkite as the voice of the CBS Evening News. I mean, think about it. When you need a voice that people will just instinctively trust, who do you call? You call Morgan Freeman.
And this, right here, brings us to the very heart of the paradox. What if we've been asking the wrong question this whole time? What if his genius isn't in playing a dozen different characters, but in spending a lifetime perfecting one unforgettable persona?
And this is where that original Reddit debate had its big breakthrough moment. A user chimed in with this, realizing that what looked like a limitation was actually an incredible skill. Freeman has crafted this character, the wise, calm, authoritative figure, so perfectly that it's blurred the line between the screen and real life. That's not a failure of acting, that is a masterclass in building an icon.
This quote from the man himself really says it all, doesn't it? That's the mindset of someone who worked for decades before he found fame. He wasn't just taking roles as they came. He was playing the long game, carefully and deliberately building the very icon we're talking about right now.
And the result of that long game? You can actually see it in the data. Forbes has run its most trustworthy celebrities list 5 times. And guess what? Morgan Freeman has been on it 5 times. A perfect score. The character he built on screen became this incredible symbol of reliability off-screen.
So, where does this whole journey leave us? We started with a pretty simple critique, and we've ended up with this much deeper, more complex appreciation for a totally different kind of artist.
So let's recap the Freeman paradox one last time. We started with the critique. He's a typecast actor. Then we hit the counterpoint, his incredibly diverse early career. But the real synthesis, the thing that ties it all together, is his voice, the anchor of his iconic persona. And that leads us to his legacy. An actor who didn't just play characters, he crafted one so powerful it became a symbol for wisdom itself.
And that leaves us with one final, much bigger question. One that kind of redefines what we even mean when we say great acting. Is true greatness found in disappearing into 1,000 different people? Or is it the rare, incredible skill it takes to create one single persona so powerful it becomes immortal? Something to think about.